let's go to election fraud exposed. 3 cases of election tampering. First one is right here in Minnesota. Let's pull this up. This is on CBS News. Minnesota woman forged her dead mom's signature on absentee ballots, charges say. A 50-year-old Minnesota woman is facing voter fraud charges after signing her dead mom's signature on 2 absentee ballots. On October 9th, the Itasca County auditor contacted the Itasca County Sheriff's Office about possible voter fraud involving 2 absentee ballots, charges say. The ballot envelopes weren't open but flagged for fraud based on the signature envelopes. The ballots, which were received on October 7th by auditor's office, were for a woman and her mother. The criminal complaint, citing the Minnesota Vital Statistics death report of Itasca County, said the mother died on August 31st. Each signature envelope includes 2 sections. One needs to be filled out by the voter and the other by the witness. The sheriff's office compared the signature envelopes and noticed they were filled out similarly. Authorities then compared the signatures to the signature on the woman's driver's license, and according to the complaint, they appeared to match each other. On October 11th, the sheriff's office spoke to the woman who said she filled out her mother's absentee ballot and signed her mom's name on the signature envelope, the complaint says. The woman said her mother was an avid Donald Trump supporter and had wanted to vote for him, but had passed away before the absentee ballots were received. The woman, according to the complaint, also said she filled out her absentee ballot and signed her mother's signature as the witness. She faces 2 counts of intentionally signing false certificates and 1 count of casting an illegal vote or adding another.
Mm-hmm. And this is going to be interesting. It was a Republican auditor who was the one who uncovered this, and it's going to go to the sheriff, who is somewhat right-leaning, and also it was in Itasca County, which people may remember that we pushed out the Keith Ellison nominee who was going to become the county attorney. So it's going to be interesting to see how this new county attorney, Jacob Fauchhold, decides to handle a case like this, because it probably ends up in his discretion from here. So it's going to be very interesting. It sounds like this lady filled out her mom's ballot, and then she also filled out her mom's signature on her own ballot as if her mom witnessed it. You can't do that kind of stuff, but the Democrats are going to use this and say, see, look, it's the Republicans that commit the fraud. But really, it was the Republican auditor who uncovered the fraud. So it's the Republicans who are stopping the fraud in this case as well.
And I just got to say this, okay? Now, she did wrong, okay? You can't do this. Let's be honest. You can't do what she did. But it seems like it comes from a place in the heart. I assume, just from what I'm reading. I don't know the circumstances here. But, and she needs to be penalized. Does it help society throwing her in prison? Probably not, okay? Because what's it really going to change in the election? Probably nothing. But maybe it does, okay? So that's why it can't go unpunished. You did wrong. You didn't follow the law. Maybe if she knew she couldn't do that, then 100% got to throw the book at her. Maybe she just didn't know, and she just lost her mom, and she's like, my mom would have done this, okay? Regardless, it's wrong, all right? But it's one vote. It's one vote. We're not going around talking about those one vote things by some lady who's mourning the death of her mom. What we're talking about is large-scale fraud. Let's go to this story. In Pennsylvania, a swing state. This is by NPR, and let's just expose the media while we're at it. This is the headline from NPR News. Pennsylvania County halts hundreds of potentially fraudulent voter registration forms. Keyword is hundreds. Now, hundreds is bad, okay? But they only say hundreds.
Right.
Let's read this story. Officials in Lancaster County in the swing state of Pennsylvania say they identified hundreds again, of potentially fraudulent voter registration applications. Suspected fraudulent voter registration forms were dropped off at the Board of Elections office in 2 batches at or near the deadline for submission. The board said in a statement on Friday, there are approximately 2,500 voter registration applications total in these 2 batches. Now, let me ask you a question. This is the story comes from the elections office, right? And that's only really credible source they have for this, right? It's not like anyone else would know this story. So they're the ones reporting, and this is their statement. Quote, there are approximately 2,500 voter registration applications total in these 2 batches, end quote. So why does the headline say 100?
Right.
Why does it say that? Because the next line says it's unclear how many of the applications in the 2 batches are alleged to be fraudulent. So why did you go with 100? Right. Why didn't you just say dozens then? Why aren't you saying thousands, which it could be 2,500?
Right.
listen to how dishonest the media is here. They make up the term 100. Where did they get that from?
Right, they downplay it.
They downplay it on purpose because guess what? If this was Lancaster County and it's 2,500, how many counties does Pennsylvania have? Like 100 probably?
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
250,000 votes. Guess what the margin of victory for Biden was in 2020? It was like 80,000 votes. This is changing the outcome of the elections in Pennsylvania. In its statement, the board stressed that county elections are secure and that flagging the potential fraud indicates the system worked. Well, good. The point is, this is not one woman who wanted to give her mom her dying wishes of voting Trump, and probably not Trump. But I'm just going to go on a limb and say those weren't Trump votes, okay? Could be, but I'm guessing not, right? This is voter fraud. They're trying to inject these ballots that don't exist. Republican-leaning Lancaster County has more than 360,000 registered voters. The statement said concerns were raised during the staff's normal process to review and enter applications into a state database, and law enforcement was alerted. In a news conference Friday with board members, Lancaster County District Attorney Heather Adams said numerous applications appeared to have the same handwriting and other details, like addresses, appeared incorrect on some applications. By the way, similar to what happened here in Minnesota. Once again, way different. One versus hundreds or thousands, right? Adams said the investigation is ongoing and wouldn't comment on who may have dropped off the potentially fraudulent forms. NPR has previously reported that paid canvassing operations have on occasion included fraudulent signatures that were caught. Well, I thought fraud doesn't exist. I thought fraud didn't exist. Okay. Friday's announcement, by the way, Joe Rogan's really good on this. I think he said it during the interview with Trump. It's like no one that's any bit credible says that fraud is zero, right? So no one says it's zero. Is it enough to turn the election is the question. But it's not zero, right? Friday's announcement followed that what officials in Pennsylvania, Bucks County, said Thursday was a fake video circulating on social media of county election workers destroying ballots. And across the country in Colorado's Mesa County, there was news Thursday of another isolated incident, an investigation into alleged voter fraud concerning about a dozen ballots. Last story here in this segment. This is BBC. I just found it to be the best synopsis of it. Ballot drop boxes set on fire in Oregon and Washington. Do you like the fact that I'm in Minnesota, know how to pronounce your home state there, Dawson?
Honestly, it's really refreshing.
Isn't it?
Thank you.
Because it's not wagon, it's wagon.
Oh, I never.
That's how you remember it, right? Yeah. The FBI is investigating after 2 ballot drop boxes went up in flames in Portland, Oregon, early on Monday. By the way, Portland, Oregon, we all know is a hotbed for conservative politics. Hundreds of ballots. By the way, it doesn't mean that it's not conservative. We don't know. Right? We just don't know. More than likely, it probably is, right?
And it's raining in the clip.
Yeah, my place is raining.
There you go. Well, actually, the video does all the justice. Basically, hitting with incendiary device on or inside of a drop box, which is catching fire to these ballots. And I don't know what happens. I guess.
I think drop boxes are just crazy.
Yeah.
In themselves.
Well, it really is, and that's the story of this election.
Yeah, it's just
right,
so
you don't want these things out there. The system that we should have.
If
you have a mail-in ballot or something and you want to return in person, you should have to give it to your county auditor office. You shouldn't be giving in some drop box because look what happens. And there's going to be all these voters that are screwed out of the opportunity to vote because they didn't know that their ballot was one of the ones that was burned, and all kinds of other things. And, Washington, Oregon, they both got systems where it's almost entirely mail-in voting. So people have very limited options. So they might even be thinking that actually a drop box might be safer than mailing it. So some people might be looking at like that it's actually a better option than putting in the mail and then hoping that your mailman is an honest person. So it's a tough one. I'm not sure, I hope they figure out who did it, the motive, all that. Because, we don't know right now.
They've got a suspect, but nothing solid yet, so nothing to worry about.
Let me throw out a conspiracy for you, okay? I just came up with this on the fly. Some left-wing organization firebombs all the Dropbox locations, and when they go scoop it up, that's where they push in the new ballots.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That's what it is.
Could
and then
be.
they blame it on the conservatives. All right.